Yes, so I just did a video on how you get started, the basics, how do you get started on the ketogenic diet. I try to get it all in 15 minutes, and as you guys can see, it's impossible. There's so many little intricate components on what you guys have to consider when trying to keto adapt, and I went from talking about getting your mind right first to getting your lifestyle in the right order. I talked about workouts. I'm going to continue really quick, very funny, right? We want to work out. So this is the second half. So we want to work out before 3 o'clock. Now some of you guys are laughing when I say that, and some of you guys have night shift jobs and you're laughing as well. Well, don't laugh, listen, because it's the right instruction. How do I know? Because I've worked with over 1,000 people, and pretty soon it'll be 2,000. So that's a lot of people. When people ask me, where do you get your education from? I'm like, you guys, no lying, no misconception, no misperceived reality, just on sheer numbers. You're going to learn something by repetition. Now, it's not easy to keto adapt. I just said in the video before, there's a difference between ketosis and being highly keto adapted. It's not the same. You can make the ketones, but your body tends to not use them because your brain is addicted to glucose. So you can make glucose in 3 minutes via the adrenals. Not even a problem. So when you guys run around thinking you're in ketosis, you're not. But check your blood glucose. A lot of you tend to be insulin resistant, which I'll talk about that in a hot second. But let's get on to the workouts. Now the workouts for those, now it's very interesting. I posted on my Facebook, test before, so sometimes before and after is really great to test for stress. So you could test 30 minutes post-workout when your heart rate is down and perhaps you're sitting. Now, if it's the workout has ended and you're like riding your bike home, then you wouldn't test. Or if you're walking home, you would not test. You would do it when you're in a rested state. So if you're done working out and you're sitting, test after 30 minutes after your workout. And if you have a high jump in, now this number is compared to your morning glucose number. So if you have a glucose number of 75 and then you work out and your blood glucose spikes to 85, 95, then perhaps you don't have enough developed GLUT4 receptors. You basically, if you have good GLUT4 receptors or good muscle clearance, good metabolic mitochondria in your muscle cell, then your body will be able to clear out the glucose that's in your bloodstream, and you should actually see a drop in glucose in comparison to your fasted glucose. So, if you have a little bit of a spike, it's not the worst, but the best is actually to have a drop in comparison to your fasted glucose numbers, which some of you guys actually have, that is really good. People who can drop their glucose post-workout tend to adapt quicker. Now, the reason why I talk about working out in the earlier part of the day is because of that melatonin cortisol shift. There's nothing we can do about it. Our bodies are designed to react. Let's see, this is natural sunlight. So right now, my cortisol is at its highest. I got energy for days. If you don't have energy in the morning, your cortisol is probably suppressed and low. So what we want to do is get our cortisol rhythm back in order. We don't want a lot of cortisol at night because that's awake daytime hormone. Yes, or an emergency hormone, or an anti-inflammatory hormone. Also what you want to think about is once 3 o'clock comes around, melatonin that wants to put you to sleep wants to start peaking and relaxing you, and cortisol, the wake up stimulated hormone, wants to drop. When you work out in the afternoon, it inverts, it reverses. So now you have your wake up hormone at night, and that's the reason why you guys can't sleep. And this is a lot of the reason why your glucose numbers are shitty, and I always have to have sirens because, we got to keep things consistent. We got to have continuity in my videos. I'm so excited. I got some energy all day long, but I've got more content and I've got more interesting things to talk about. So, yes, good stuff. Now, type of workout, we don't want to do HIIT training. I don't care, not right now. Even if some guys, there's very few that can use HIIT training, high intensity interval training of 30-second blast, not a minute, 30-second blast followed by a minute recovery. Some of you guys do really well on that, but it's very few. Most of you are terrible because most of you have some type of adrenal insufficiency, which goes on to the intermittent fasting, why I'm so against it, because you guys have adrenal overload. The adrenals misfire, underfire, overfire, underfire, fire too much, fire too little. This means that when you do a HIIT training, boof goes the cortisol, a douche, drops the cortisol. You're either tired all day long, you can sleep standing up, or you're wired at night, and or you don't get into enough REM state cycle sleeping. This is the reason why the type of workout really matters in the first really volatile first couple weeks of your keto adaptation. So you have to think about these things, guys. So first 4 to 6 weeks, if you're a newbie, you don't want to go like power lift really heavy, do CrossFit WODs, start sprinting, intervals. You want to do time under tension. And as I've spoken before, I'm doing a bicep curl this way, but I'm also contracting on the negative, the eccentric motion, because just this way slow and this way slow is going to wake up the old mitochondria within the muscle cell, and without getting your heart rate to spike and getting that cortisol to start to over secrete. Because remember, adrenal misfiring, and we start to produce too much adrenaline and cortisol. That's the reason why I ramp things down. Once you start healing those adrenals, and then you know that you're absorbing your B's and D's and all this kind of stuff, then you know that you can start going back to your HIIT cycles once, and your sleep has to be rock star, 2 to 3 dreams a night, vivid, and remember them. If you're not remembering your dreams, guys, you're not going into deep enough REM state cycles, which is problematic, because that's when you make ketones. So, and use them. My bad. You use them. You wake up with low glucose in the morning because your body's burning those darn ketones, and that's what we want, right? We want to access the body fat. That's what we want to do. We want to access the body fat. We want to have a restaurant on our belly, and we want to live our lives without constantly shoving carbohydrates in our gullet, which is exhausting because you're hungry all the mother-sucking time. Whereas I, who've been doing this, and there's nothing that people can talk about, rah, 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 ketosis diet, rah, rah, or this diet is better, that diet's better. But the reality is, I don't think there's another person who's gone nearly 7 straight years without refeeding once on what? No alcohol, no cheeses, no nuts, no carbs, no sweet potatoes, no rice, no sugar, no fruit, sweet fruits, nothing that's going to take my glucose over 15 grams net from cruciferous, or 15 total carbs from non-cruciferous. So because I've done that, and I do videos every day in a sports bra, and to be honest, I could wear a sweatshirt. I don't really care, because you guys know that I'm a cap type of girl. It's to show you guys that there is consistency, and like I used the word before, there's continuity in my daily reality, not refeeding on keto. And as you guys can see, that this is not a joke, I'm not dry. My skin is not dry because there's a lot of fat. So the lean body mass that I have does not come from a low-fat diet. So I'm not like, you guys can clearly see that I'm not lying to you, because this is stuff at the age of nearly 50, and I'm not dry. And it doesn't matter what color skin I have, with a black don't crack, but black without enough fat will definitely look dry, and the skin looks dried out. It looks dehydrated. So you can see there's a lot of fat in my skin from eating a very, very, very high fat diet. Most people, especially women who are this lean, the skin will get really wrinkly when you pull on it. It'll look very dehydrated. So these are the things that I want you guys to be aware of, to not be afraid of fat. It's the reason, like I said, I think in the prior video, that my menstrual cycle is every 28 days, on point, fleek, correct, because I eat saturated fats, which is what your sex hormones are made out of 100%. So I've got enough building material to help the entire body, even though the liver recycles your cholesterol. And it actually makes, okay, good. It actually makes 75% of our own cholesterol through the recycling of it. And so only 25% of our cholesterol comes from our diet. Boom. So, I'm so happy. I'm so excited. The more I learn, the more, it's just an amazing evolution, even of myself, my mind, my emotions, being on the internet, which is literally, it's exhausting. It's not what I choose, but the reaction is a lot of people who are coming to me now tend to have metabolic issues, or they'll have autoimmune. And so it's so exciting for the first time to have people come to me, which I want to do another video about client stories. This past week is a woman with lung cancer, had the guy with hematomacrosis, and then I have another woman right now who's got Crohn's so bad that she's just fracked all the time. And these to me are the most, they get me super emotional, because now people are starting to understand that it's about health. It's not about fat loss. Fat loss is a byeffect of being healthy. So it's not about being lean or anything. It's just about being healthy. So whatever your body looks like at its optimal health, that's a healthy body at whatever size that might be. Okay, so we've got the workouts before 3. 11 is perfect. Now, I know you guys can't make 11, so you might have to work out from home. Yes, home workouts count. 20 to 30 minutes. Get some hand weights, some bands, do time under tension, and start off, break the fast, have tablespoon of animal fat, tablespoon of plant fat, perhaps in a fatty tea, do your workout, and then have breakfast, and then go to work or drop off the kids, which is what a lot of you guys do. You want to be able to potentially have a thermos with you of fat that you can take on the road to make sure that you fat load. You don't want your snacks to be protein or veggies. People keep asking me for snacks. I only like ketogenic snacks for when you travel. So you can have something that pacifies you, because it's pretty stressful to get on airplanes or trains or whatever, or travel long distances. So I do have snacks, or I really don't like the carb replacement snacks. I went to town on making them in the beginning, but like on a travel experience, it could be a good method to put in Tupperware and take with you and use as something to refeed on your ketogenic macros. Now, other than that, like on a normal day like me in my hood, I don't need to have a bunch of snacks because I'm in ketosis. So I could do something as simple as a fatty tea and keep moving on. I don't have to sit and make something, prepare something. You guys have to think this is, we got the sirens. You have to think this is a lot different than any other dietary protocol that you've ever heard of, because it's not about shoving food in your mouth every damn 2 seconds. It's completely different. And like I've used the analogy before, eating carbohydrates and glucose, using glucose, is like putting fire into a fireplace. And I keep getting these these guys are like, you don't know what you're talking about, man. The brain needs glucose. And like, go to the next channel, because every other channel is going to talk about glucose for the brain. I'm talking about ketones. If you want to learn about ketones, this is where you should be. Otherwise, keep it rolling. Yes, so if it's like putting paper into a fireplace to heat a house, this is Nora Gagaudis's analogy, whereas ketones is like putting a log onto a fireplace. That's what we want. We don't want to sit and put paper in that burns real high, but then burns out. Every time that paper burns out, your metabolism becomes more destroyed or compromised. Every single time. Because the brain is dependent on glucose, so therefore you must feed the brain with glucose all day long. Now I've done this for almost 7 years, and as you guys can see, I do daily videos every single day. You can see my body every single day. Every single day. And the times that I might look more bloated is when I've just eaten something, or I'm on my menstrual cycle. But other than that, I am literally consistent year after year as I get older and older and older and older with a ton of injuries, because I used to be a pro skateboarder on big vert ramps. Now, that's why I love talking about keto, is the anti-aging benefits of it, the total health benefits of it, and energy for days, right? It's the best. Yeah, you guys, the macros, like I mentioned in the other video, you need 200 grams of fat, at least 50% from animal fat, or 100% from animal fats. MCTs work for some people. It's a digestive discomfort for some. BHB salts, keto OS, they don't work. I keep getting more people getting sick on them, actually. You want to drink enough water, get enough Himalayan salt. You guys are losing a lot of electrolytes, which is causing the headaches. And yes, a lot of you have candida die-off. Know your keto flu symptoms. I have a video on the keto flu symptoms, from benign heart palps, you guys aren't getting enough potassium, to muscle cramps, magnesium, and dehydration because you're not drinking enough water. And constipation is a big one. I'll go into that in other videos. Go to my Periscope, download the app, go to Steph the Business, and watch live broadcasts or stuff